What happens when Formula One's most dominant driver completely loses his cool on live television? Why did Max Verstappen tell the FIA stewards he hopes they buy expensive wine with his fine money? And what did he really say to that fan who gave him the middle finger that had the entire paddock talking? The answers reveal a side of Max Verstappen that goes far beyond his record-breaking 10 consecutive Grand Prix wins. A story of pressure, defiance, and the thin line between confidence and controversy. Let's start with what everyone saw but few understood. According to broadcast footage from the press conference when journalists kept asking about the Silverstone incident with Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen's response was telling. Can we just already stop about this because we've had so many questions about this? It's just ridiculous, honestly. The whole Thursday we've been answering this all the time, so can we just stop about it, please? But that was just the beginning. The real pattern emerges when you look at his radio communications during races. In one documented exchange with his race engineer, when asked to let teammate Sergio Perez through, Verstappen's response was blunt. I told you already last time, you guys don't ask that again to me, okay? Are we clear about that? I gave my reasons and I stand by it. The most revealing incident happened during a practice session when Verstappen encountered aggressive fans. As he described it in a post-session interview, a lot of people were clapping. Then one guy was doing some different things to me, so I gave him the finger. Then, the next time I came around, he was clapping, so, they learn.
And then the next time I came around, he was clapping. So, they learn.
This isn't just about isolated outbursts. The data tells a different story about what's happening inside the Red Bull garage, and the pressure that's building around F1's youngest triple world champion. But here's what the cameras didn't catch, and why team insiders are starting to worry about what comes next. You might think this is simply about a champion who's grown tired of media obligations. After all, when you've won 10 races in a row, setting an all-time Formula One record, some attitude seems justified. Verstappen himself addressed the criticism directly. I think if I would be driving in the back, nobody would be even doing anything in terms of reaction. I think it's normal when you are winning, and they don't like who is winning. His response to the boos at British Grand Prix seemed equally measured. This is something for me, which is absolutely fine. As long as I stand on the top, that's for me the most important. I take the trophy home, and they go back to their houses, and they can have a nice evening. Even his reaction to receiving a substantial fine from the FIA stewards appeared to be handled with typical Verstappen humor. It's quite a big fine, so I hope they have a nice dinner and a lot of wine. I hope good expensive wine. That would be nice. They can invite me for dinner as well. I'll pay for that dinner too.
It's quite a big fine, so I hope they have a nice dinner and a lot of wine. I hope good expensive wine, that would be nice. And they can invite me for dinner as well. I'll pay for that dinner too.
But the timing of these incidents suggests something more complex is happening behind the scenes. The real question isn't why Max is acting out. It's what Red Bull is doing about it, and why that might change everything. The pattern becomes clear when you examine the context of these outbursts. During qualifying sessions, when technical issues arose, Verstappen's radio messages revealed growing frustration with the team's decision-making. In one documented exchange, his race engineer tried to give him strategy advice, and Verstappen responded, "Don't give me that. You guys give me the strategy, okay? I'm trying to rescue what's happening." The most telling moment came during a technical briefing when asked about car setup changes. Verstappen's response was unusually guarded. "I might get fined or get an extra day penalty, so..." This suggests awareness that his comments were being monitored more closely than usual. What's particularly significant is how these incidents escalate around specific technical challenges. When the car suffered what appeared to be a chassis issue during practice, requiring an engine cover to be improperly secured, Verstappen's frustration wasn't directed at the mechanical failure. It was aimed at the communication breakdown that led to it. The evidence points to a driver who feels increasingly isolated in his decision-making, despite being in the most dominant car on the grid. His comment about the team strategy, "I would prefer if you ask these questions outside the room," suggests conflicts that extend beyond what we see on television. But the most revealing part comes when you understand what Red Bull isn't telling us about these incidents. The implications extend far beyond media relations. Red Bull's championship position means every decision Verstappen makes affects not just his own title chances, but the team's constructor standings worth millions in prize money. His refusal to follow team orders regarding Sergio Perez creates internal pressure that could impact their ability to secure both championships. More concerning for Red Bull is the pattern of escalation. What started as media frustration has evolved into on-track defiance of team strategy. The radio message where he explicitly told his engineers not to ask him to let Perez through again represents a fundamental shift in team dynamics. The FIA's decision to increase scrutiny through fines and reprimands suggests they view this as more than typical driver emotion. When Verstappen acknowledged he has to pay the fines personally rather than the team covering them, it indicated a more serious level of disciplinary action than routine penalties. Looking ahead to the remaining races, this creates a volatile situation. Verstappen's dominance means Red Bull needs his cooperation to secure the Constructors' Championship, but his increasing resistance to team management puts them in an impossible position. They can't risk alienating their star driver, but they also can't allow team discipline to completely break down. The upcoming races in challenging conditions will test whether this is a temporary phase or a fundamental change in how Verstappen operates under pressure. The evidence raises questions that go beyond this season. Is this the natural evolution of a champion who's achieved everything, or the beginning of a longer-term issue for Red Bull? How will other teams view Verstappen's approach when considering future driver moves? And most importantly, what happens when Red Bull's dominance eventually ends, and this level of internal conflict faces real competitive pressure? The answers will shape not just the remainder of this championship fight, but the entire future of Formula One's most successful partnership. What do you think? Is Max's behavior justified by his success, or is Red Bull losing control of their champion? Let me know in the comments and make sure to subscribe because this story is far from over.